I'm your host, Donna Cates, and each week we'll dive into powerful stories, expert strategies, and practical tools to help you take charge of your financial future. Whether you're planning for retirement, navigating a divorce, or simply looking to build your wealth with confidence, this is your space to grow, learn, and thrive. Let's get started with today's podcast. Good morning, Clare, Dubé. I'm so excited to have you here with us today on our podcast. And I am going to focus primarily, or this podcast actually focuses primarily on professional women like yourself and their financial well being. So I'm thrilled to kind of travel down your personal journey to financial empowerment. So I'm going to ask you to do a brief introduction of yourself. I know Clare Dubé works in the same space as me with money stuff, and I'm thrilled to have her today. Her company is called Financial Social Work Collaborative. So, Claire, if you could take about 90 seconds and give us an overview of what you do and why you got into it, that would be awesome.
Wonderful. Thank you, Donna. I really appreciate having the opportunity to chat. Money conversations is my jam. That's the thing that I love to do most. And I do work mostly with women. With the Financial Social Work Collaborative, it's something that it's newly been founded with three other colleagues. And we help those that are certified in financial social work grow their businesses, start their businesses. And really, it is building wealth and a lot around women.
It sounds awesome. So you're actually serving not just the general public, but people that do what you do and getting them better educated and prepared to help the masses. Is that right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay,
Yep. Is support.
that is so awesome. And we need people to have the skill sets and to go out there and have the conversations, because I work with a lot of counselors and they know just enough about money, but they always send them in the right direction. So that's what we want. We want folks to know what they know, but when to refer them as well. So kudos to you. So I would love to hear, what do you see as the biggest problem in your industry now, and how are you working to solve that?
So I think for this specific industry with the financial social work, I think the biggest obstacle is overcoming the word social work when dealing with other financial professionals. I think there's still this thought process that it is, not for anybody with income, for high net worth. And really, financial social work really is the basis of social work is meet people where they are. And this is finance based. And the resources that social workers have is such a huge mass of resources that we can share with other financial professionals. So I think the biggest thing is getting around that financial social work aspect and wording of it and getting an understanding of what we really do.
I've got it. I would love for you to expound just a bit on what you think people are hearing when they hear social worker.
hmm So I think traditionally people hear social worker and they instantly think about, children being taken away from families and a very negative aspect of it, and not the very positive, which is really helping individuals, helping communities, and helping people as a whole globally. And when you start putting finances with that, you had talked about working with counselors and, you know, having that just a little bit of financial knowledge. This is where we come in to broaden that because money touches everything. There isn't one thing in your waking life that money does not touch.
Absolutely. And there are so many negative connotations around money, having money, not having money, being greedy, all of the negative things. So I love what you're doing. You're literally making a difference in the world. So I would love for you to expound a little bit on what makes you unique in the way that you're helping others.
So I think that I always start off with, social work is the thing where it says meet people where they are. And I think that's where the financial social work comes in, is meeting people where they are. I think with you working with divorced women or divorcing women, there's that aspect of where do we go now? Like, how do we have these discussions? And that's what I think makes financial social work a little bit more unique. Stuttering on my words, is we're more than surface level. We're definitely more root level, and then addressing things that are surface, and which makes us give clients better educated to now financial professionals, financial certified financial professionals to work with. So I think we're kind of a great collaborator with other financial professionals.
That is so exciting. And I know, we all have a personal story with money, and I think it all starts with, what we were taught or how we were raised, yeah, and how we had conversation around money. So it's a lot of mindset stuff.
Mhm.
So financial advisors aren't trained in that way. So I think, helping us understand how to shift money mindset can be very empowering. So
Mm.
tell me, Claire, where do you see your industry going, especially with your new business, in the next 5 to 10 years, and how are you staying on top of the changes?
So we're definitely always looking at trends. And with women coming into more money, whether it's from divorces or inheritance, um, more women are bringing in and coming in with wealth. So I think that's one trend that we're looking at. Two, it's the conversations around money. The younger generation is way more open to having these conversations. And I think so. Each generation from baby boomers where you really didn't talk about it. Each one that's coming now, I think it's a little bit more open. So we're looking at the trend of those conversations. I think when we come into having multiple marriages, so those conversations about yours, mine, and ours, and how we work with stepchildren and how they're involved in what might be inheritance. So I think we're watching those trends as well to see how we can broker more financial conversations.
Oh, that's so empowering. And I know too, I'm so glad that you brought up the fact that we have so many more blended families,
Mhm.
because that's the thing a lot of people may not have given any consideration to. What happens if I die? We're now married. You're my primary beneficiary, new wife, but what happens if you inherit all of that and my kids of prior marriage are out of the picture? Yeah, those are serious conversations that we need to be having with folks, including that good estate planning.
Right.
So tell me, I would love to hear what your biggest failure or challenge, and that can be both personally or professionally, whichever you prefer, that you faced to this point in your life, and how has that shaped the way that you do business and even the business that you're in?
Sure. So I'll give you the Reader's Digest version, which definitely aging myself about Reader's Digest. But anyway,
I hear you.
um, I was a money mess. I mean, when I say money mess, I was a money mess. My mother opened up a checking account for me when I was 15 years old, and I was the type that said if I had checks in the checkbook, then I must have money. Um, and I bounced checks on a, I would say, fairly regular basis, because even though I was given this account, I wasn't really given the education in how to work it. Fast forward to my early 20s, and I was working at a bank, and we had a substitute banker come in because someone was on vacation. And it had been somebody that knew me growing up. And I had just become head teller. So it was a new promotion. I'm very proud of myself. And this woman proceeded to tell all my colleagues how I used to bounce checks all the time, and my mother would run in and cover my funds.
Mm.
So that financial shame just really lingered. And you just having this proud moment of getting promoted and then having this financial shame in my face was uh, very difficult.
Yeah.
And that moment was what I call a DMM, a defining money moment.
Oh.
And it stayed with me, but it didn't make me change. And I just kept getting a little worse with money. Once I got married and having these money issues, I ended up getting in about $3,000 into credit card debt, which this day and age sounds like nothing. To me, it was traumatic. And I met with a financial counselor who literally chuckled at me and said, "You don't need us. You can handle this." these are a few steps that you need to take. And this person, rather than me taking it on as more financial shame, I looked at this person like, okay, you believe in me. And I was able to make some steps. Read The Millionaire Next Door, greatest book I thought changed my life. And I proceeded to get myself out of debt and really read up on money. And I went 180 degrees. So I was the real money mess to money success. So I think there's ways of doing it, and it is all the mindset. I could have taken that shame and just lingered with it, but instead did make some changes.
I think what you're saying is so important for our listeners to hear because we have the experiences that we have. And I truly believe this, the universe puts those life experiences in our paths for us to learn from. The
Mhm.
problem is a lot of us just never take action to learn from what's being handed to us. So you certainly did. And thank goodness that you had someone that didn't further shame you, but said, no, girl, you got this. Come on, here's the next thing we need to do. I often talk in my practice, especially with my divorcing women, about taking baby steps. We don't have to conquer the world in one day, but we do need to, take those steps. And it sounds like that's the path that you chose.
Mhm. I would say also the word yet is a great word. And I think if we put it in more of our conversation, so it may be, I'm not really good at money, but I'm going to, I'm not good yet. If we add that, it gives us a little bit more hope to proceed and take those small steps. I think you are absolutely right. The baby steps are the ones that are going to bring us much more momentum than trying to do it all at once.
Let me share this with you because I know before we started recording, I was sharing with you my technical challenges and how saying that out loud was just bringing it to more reality. So you just taught me a good lesson. I'm currently technically challenged, yet I'm working on improving that. So thank you for that. Yet I love that. Okay, awesome. Okay, I'm going to shift gears here just a bit and ask you this question. If you could have lunch with one person, whether they're living or deceased, who would that be and why?
Oh, okay. That's a really good question. Um, huh. I'm going to say this is coming out of nowhere, but it just popped in my head. Queen Elizabeth. And I would say she had such a long reign. Um, she had to broker conversations with um, both the people that she was ruling and those that were in government with her. Um, and I think I'd really like to know how she was able to do it for so long and so well.
And so eloquently and diplomatically, right?
Right.
Okay.
At least that was the perception. You don't know what happens behind closed doors, but she was a very young woman when she had to step into some big shoes. And I think that would be somebody I'd really like to have a conversation with.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Well, Claire, I would love for you to share with us how our audience can reach out to you and where to follow you on social media. Share where we need to find you.
Sure. Two ways. So it's Claire at clairedubé.com. My website is clairedubé.com. And also the fswcollaborative.com. That's the financial social work group that we formed. I can be reached both ways.
Okay, that's awesome. And I would encourage any of our financial experts that are out here listening that you consider reaching out to Claire too, because I know adding that social worker perspective can change the way we work with our clients. So thank you for that. So, Claire, tell me, what do you see next for yourself?
Oh, good question. So I have recently retired from one-on-one clients, really putting my focus in the collaborative because the more people that we can help grow their businesses, their financial businesses, and get the word out for financial literacy, I think the more that ripple effect happens. So that's really where I see consulting on that aspect and helping the industry grow as much as we can.
Right. And, there's only so much that we can do individually, one on one. So I think that's a wise move because you're going to be impacting many more people and have far greater reach. That's
Mm.
fabulous. I hope today's conversation left you feeling inspired, informed, and ready to take the next step in your financial journey. Remember, building wealth isn't just about money, it's also about creating a life that aligns with your goals and values. If you found this episode valuable, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with the women in your life who deserve financial empowerment too. Until next time, stay confident, stay empowered, and keep building the life you desire.